Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to the Carrguy and Sixfan show. My name is Jason, and I am coming to you guys live from my garage. As you can see, I got Dale behind me here. New venue, and we're hoping that the new Wi-Fi extender works tonight, and we're not scrambling at the last second to run in the house with everything. So I'm just only half of the show, and my co-host over here is...
Of course, I am Sixfan of this operation of the Carrguy and Sixfan show. Grant Tommy, my channel is straight Sixfan, where I like to focus on budget-minded, relatable, creative builds, a little something I call offbeat hot rodding. But we are in, what is this, episode 4 now of season 3, and we're doing a little throwback. So if you guys haven't picked up on the pattern, it's sort of legacy episode, interview, and we're back on a legacy episode. But with that, we feel like we have a pretty good treat in store for you guys, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this episode. So I'll turn it back over to Jason, kind of go through who do we have jumping in the chat so far.
Well, before I jump over the chat, I just want to do one quick thing before we get started, because I am on Instagram Live right now. Guys, if you're watching me on Instagram Live, head on over to my YouTube channel right now, because the Carrguy and Sixfan show is live. So we're going to carry on here for a few minutes. Head on over, and we're talking F-bodies today. So we're going to welcome in Corey from Craving Cars. We've got Chris Davis, Kip from America to Bumper, Shane, Winnipeg Car Life, and who else we got? Eric Stinberg. Corey's back in there again. W27 Cutlass, welcome. I don't think we've had you in the chat before, but welcome to the channel. And so far, that is who we have live in the chat. So guys, let's get all your friends, share this video out so that we can get some more people in the chat. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't done so far, and we're going to get started with the show.
Yeah, we would appreciate any way you guys can share that. We did have a couple people jump in since then. In fact, 3 or 4 more people. We have Nez Lover, Grimm's Auto Service, Camaro Time, and Will's Wheels. Yes, we are talking F-bodies tonight, but just as a reminder, since there are a couple new first-timers in here, so what this show wants to be about, this is a weekly place for us car guys here on YouTube, the car or automotive niche creators. And so the more people in here, the better it is for growth for everybody involved, because there's more people. Just think, we usually average about 14 to probably 20 people a week. If everybody brought one new person, your channel could potentially grow by 13 to 19 subscribers. So with that, think about sharing out the link. We would really appreciate that. We are a little bit doing a stall tactic, because there's one F-body creator out there that is on the West Coast, and so I'm giving him a little bit of time to maybe get off work. If he can join, I don't know, but we're pretty excited about the topic at hand. So Jason, is there anything you wanted to add to that before we kind of unveil what we're doing tonight?
No, I just think we've got a couple extra guys who have jumped in the chat, and one of those is Dirty Garage Mods. And just so if you guys don't know who he is, he's just a small channel who's trying to make it on YouTube. If you haven't checked him out yet, head on over there and give him a hit on his YouTube channel. Thanks for jumping in there. And we've also got DeWitt, who is a new channel that I picked up this week, and I'm glad to see that you've made it into the live stream. We've got Midnight Mechanic, Rust Belt Mechanic is in there as well. Rennie LePage, and I think we missed somebody. Double R Restoration jumped in there. I think you might have already got him anyways. So yeah,
as well as we have Harrison's Rod and Custom, Trucker Dave, and Resto Car. So welcome everybody. Midnight Mechanic, I think you caught, but yes, a lot of F-body accounts. So this is going to be good.
We're going to do this, guys. So before we jump into this too much, I will be the first person to admit I don't know much about F-bodies, and that's kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to do this show, is because yeah, there's your iconic ones and this and that everyone's going to like, but I invited a few of you guys over here. Grant's invited a few of you guys over here just to make sure that some of the BS that we might be spewing tonight is either just that, or it could be some actual fact as part of the show here tonight.
And it looks like Mrs. Carrguy is showing up in the background. Jason, as you may or may not know, is on Atlantic time, so he is 2 hours ahead of me. It is 9:04 over where he's at. His wife, I think, usually retires about this time. So while he does that, I will start to lay out the ground rules for what we are going to do here a little bit. And we want this to be as interactive as possible. And much like Jason, as he says, he's not necessarily the biggest F-body guy. Of course, I'm the resident Ford guy, if you didn't know that, and this is your first time. So you guys, we're going to rely on you in the chat a little bit to call us out on misinformation. But with no further ado, what the goal is here tonight is Jason and I have broken up the F-bodies, so Firebird and Camaros, kind of not exactly by generation. You'll figure it out as we go along. But what we want to do is make this an interactive game with you in the chat. And so it's going to, which side are you going to take? We've broken up the years, like I said, in different chunks. So pick a side. Firebird, if someone gave you this car, would you build the Firebird or the Camaro? So with that, Jason, if you wanted to add anything, go for it. But I know we have some imagery to start showing as well.
Yeah, no, I've got nothing to add. All I can tell you is when we get there, I'll tell you what my favorite one is. But anyways, let me see if I can figure out how to get this up on the screen.
And in the meantime, so I'll kind of get into the rules a little bit more. So Jason and I will be voting first. We'll pick a side, and then we, depending on how many people are in the chat, we will take probably like the first 10 to 12 votes. So get your votes in right away, just because there is a lag time between our stream and the comments. We just don't want to sit around waiting for forever. So Jason, with that, we will start off with, wait for it.
Wait for it. Okay.
All right. So before the picture pops up, just a little disclaimer. So this should be the 67 to 69 front clip. You guys will be seeing front clips for everything. This may be where Jason's Wi-Fi booster is not up to the task, and we're finding that out right now. Well, with that, actually, Jason, I might be able to share the screen on my end. Yeah, it looks like it. So I will try bringing it up on my end. So guys, again, since you're the F-body experts probably, and we're not, 67 to 69 Firebird's nose didn't really change, but of course we know the 67 and 60, the 68 and 69 Camaro are a little more similar than the 67. So with that, come on. Application window. Wow, we built this show up, and now I will have to share my entire screen. So,
well, you hang on just 1 second, because I think that I can make it happen in a different form. Give me 2 seconds here, and I'm going to try it one more time. So, screen share, Chrome tab, and email.
There we go.
Hey, look at that.
All right, so here we are. What say you guys? Now, again, knowing that there's some nuances between the 67 and 69 more on the Camaro side than the Firebird side. You guys know Jason and I like to kind of buck trends and be a little different, but it's too hard for me to pass up the opportunity to have something as stellar as a 69 Camaro. So I am voting Team Camaro.
And I think that, again, if Terry Eford is in the chat, I don't know if he is because I can't see it at the moment. I know he'd be going Pontiac. So just because I don't think he's in the chat, I'm going to take Terry's side tonight, and I am going to go Pontiac. Well,
Terry is actually in. Oh, and ASIC Eric just joined the chat. This was the guy we were trying to hope could make it. Eford Garage actually is in the chat, and he voted Team Camaro, actually. So, yeah, so we are split votes 1-1. So I'm going to go back up to the top, and we have Firebird from Will's Wheels, Firebird from Dirty Garage Mods, Camaro from Grimm's Auto. Camaro time is Camaro. Surprise, surprise, America, bumper to bumper Camaro.
Yeah, we got Camaro. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, Team Camaro wins. Yeah, that's a little hard to. All right, so that takes us to the start of the second generation. And so Jason, I will let you talk a little bit about this, but yeah, these by and large, both Camaro and Firebird keep the nose relatively the same between 70 and 73. So which side are you taking? Which one are you building?
Well, I think this time I am going to have to go Camaro, because there is something about that open mouth grill and those split bumpers that really does it for me. We talked a little bit earlier before we kind of started talking about picking one this way or the other, and I still had a favorite, and the early '70s Camaro is definitely my favorite with the open mouth grill and the split bumpers. So I'm gonna have to go Camaro.
This one is probably, I think, the toughest one out of all of them. Like I look at everything you said about the split bumper years, and that 70 and a half is just so, like, if you can get your hands on one of those, I mean, it's just like, and that giant fish mouth, like kind of open grill, so menacing looking. But I look at the one I picked for the Firebird, I'm like, man, that's a pretty cool nose too. Like I'm really torn. I guess I'll go Team Camaro. I think I'm going Team Camaro, but man, it's tough. It's tough for me.
So what's the chat saying so far? So if we look over there, and the Miniac is saying Firebird on that one, and Eford is going back to Pontiac, I guess. Camaro for Brian Harrison, and hey, Scott Speed Shop is in the house, guys. Thanks a lot, Jed, for jumping in here.
Oh, awesome. Welcome, Scott.
We've got Firebird for Eric Stinberg, Firebird for Trucker Dave. Double R Restoration says that is a tough one for sure. And Acentric says Firebird. Yeah. So I think this one is kind of split down the middle so far. I'm getting 6 and 6.
So I guess I broke the tie by going Team Camaro. So Camaro wins.
Oh, we got another Camaro Nomad Unbroken Live. So I guess we're gonna have to chalk this one up for Camaro again.
All right. Well, then that will take us to the next one, and this is where it gets a little tricky. You guys who know your F buddies super well, I'm cheating the system here a little bit, and I will probably explain that a little better when we get to the next picture. But we've selected years 74 to 76. Of course, we are right in the core of the OPEC era, and we're one more year into the odd body year, as I like to call them. But between the 74 and 76 era, for me, I'm going Team Pontiac definitely on this one, Jason.
Yeah, and I would have to agree, because this is kind of where Firebird starts leaning into the whole takeoff period, as far as being a more performance looking car. Of course, we saw that back in the last clip as well. And the Camaros were just kind of being a little bit lazy. So on this era, I'm going to have to go Pontiac.
Yeah, and I'll kind of follow up on that and say I think and it's funny, but some in the chat are saying pass and neither. So totally get that. But this was a difficult era in Detroit. But I think Pontiac's styling. So if you guys didn't know, of course, the guy who started the DeLorean Motor Company, whatever his first name is, DeLorean, worked for Pontiac. And through this era, I think Pontiac actually figured out a way to keep really good proportions despite all of the, the 5 mile an hour bumpers and all that stuff. You look at what Camaro did and they just slapped a bumper on. The Pontiac, I think the designers integrated things a little more, and I just think the styling cues are just a little more sharp on the Pontiac.
Yeah, so as we go back to the chat, besides we got a few people in there saying they don't choose to take a vote, but I can't even say his name.
ASIC Eric.
There you go. ASIC Eric is going Camaro with that shaker. Stupid Fast Truck says Pontiac. Miniac's not voting. Resto Car is not voting, and Craven Car says Firebird. Firebird for W27 Cutlass, and Firebird for the GOM. So I think Firebird is pulling on this one for the first time since we started with the votes.
Yeah, it looks like, yep, John DeLorean. Thank you, Kip. Yes. Yep. All right, so then that would take us to the next era, which is we're doing 1978 and 77 and 78 alone, because Pontiac has unique styling for this year. Now, so this is why I kind of put that asterisk in the last category. The Camaro actually changed styles. They went 74 to 77, and then they updated 78 to 81. But because the 1977 Pontiac Trans Am is such an iconic car for many reasons, I thought, you know what? I think I know without asking anybody what's probably going to happen, but you never know. That's why we do it. So, Jason, what say you?
Yeah, and again, we're talking iconic movie cars here, and the Trans Am definitely is kind of my vote. I'm not even sure why we even have to vote on this era of car, because I think most of us with half a brain are going to vote. I shouldn't say that, because there might be somebody who's not going to vote it and get me be pissed off at me. But I think that we're pretty well given that most people are going to go with Pontiac.
And I'm definitely going Pontiac, and it looks like, of course, we see all of those Smoking the Bandit references, like Eastbound and Down. Looks like we have Pontiac Fire Chicken Trans Am. So we are chalking that up for we'll go Pontiac.
Yeah, Darren's Gray Goat says Camaro because he's still a diehard Camaro guy. And you know what? I get that, man. I truly do. I really get that. But like I said to Grant before we went live, it really is hard to pass up the Bandit style or the Bandit look of a car, because it is so iconic. You go back to, 60s style Mopars, and you're going to go 69 Charger all day long because of the General Lee. So it's kind of the same thing. You're almost drawn to it without even liking it. So just because of it's iconic.
So if you're just kind of jumping in here kind of mid live stream with us, first of all, welcome and thank you. We've seen a lot of new names in tonight. So Jason, I don't know what number you're seeing on your end, since I don't get to see that tally, but Corey, GOM, Midnight Mechanic, we already said him, Darren's Gray Goat, of course. Welcome. So kind of what the exercise is, if you've jumped in halfway through, if somebody handed you a Pontiac Firebird, Trans Am, or Z28 Camaro in the eras we're doing, you get to pick which one you're building. So that's the game we're playing, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as Jason and I are. And with that, we'll move on to the next era.
Yeah, and before we start talking about that next era, excuse me, if you guys are watching this after the live stream, don't hesitate to go down into the comment section and tell us what your favorite generation of all the cars that we've been talking about tonight, and just leave a comment down in the comment section.
All right, so before we get into this picture, first off, I wanted to let everybody know I did Photoshop all these, and I got all the way to this era before I actually had to get creative with some of the Photoshop tools to line up roof lines and perspective. This was the first one I had to really fake some perspective. So if you look on the Camaro side, you can see how the picture kind of got there's some weird stuff going on right under that Chevy logo. So anyway, but it was fun. So this is kind of where things start to change. That's the second generation from 1970 all the way to 81. By and large, it's the same platform of a car, but you guys have seen how many times the nose has changed through these eras. So this is the tail end of it, and this one's easy for me, Jason. Sorry, Sean, if you're in the chat, you know how much I'm not a fan of the 79 to 81 Pontiac nose. I'm going Team Camaro.
Yeah, and I would have to as well, and I think that for the simple fact that we're coming on to the generation of the 25th anniversary, Camaro, and I think somebody had mentioned that in there as well, and they were such a classic looking car, especially when you get the Z28 trim, and I'm gonna have to go Camaro on this one.
And I do have an idea where I think you could massage. I've seen some actually pretty cool pro touring Trans Ams of this era. It's just that all that mass on that nose, they don't break it up with anything. And the 77 and 78 were so clean the way it split, it's just really hard. I think there's a way you could massage the Trans Am, but yeah, it's it's easy for me, Camaro.
Yeah, and the Pontiac in that year, they kind of got away from that split grill that Pontiac had right up till their demise in 2009. They got away from that in the grill section. They put it into the bumper on the style car. It just wasn't classic Pontiac.
Well, with that, I guess, and it looked like that was kind of the Camaro ran away with it in the results. If unless you saw it differently, Jason.
Yeah, I'm reading down through there as well, and somebody corrected me on the 25th was in '92, so I'm way off. Maybe I'm thinking in the earlier years, but they did have an anniversary car in the early '80s. A buddy of mine had one. It was blue and white. But anyways, the classic looking car, and I think Camaro has got
10th,
that thing
10th
going.
anniversary, probably 70. No, nope. I don't know.
Nope.
Whatever. 20. All right, we'll stop
It
talking.
would have been I think 82 ish. Anyway, so are we ready to go on to the next one?
We're ready. Yep.
All right. So next one is new body style.
Yeah, and so the only thing to nuance here is the Firebird. Again, you guys are the experts of F bodies. Jason's the Mopar guy, and I'm the Ford guy. So we're not trying to claim to be experts, but my understanding, the Camaro basically unchanged 82 to 92. The Firebird in 91 and 92 got a little more of an arrow nose, which is what you see. And this is another one of where I really had to stretch some roof lines in Photoshop to make this picture work. I'm going Team Camaro easy.
And the Pontiac Trans Am, of course, went to the flip up headlights up until up until '92 when they started adding. Well, the next generation they started adding actual headlights and stuff like that. But yeah, IROC Z it definitely is kind of what kind of cranks my boat. Cranks my motor, and I think that's the one that was classic when I was in high school, and there was a few of them around. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Camaro on this one myself.
Looking in the chat, it does appear Team Camaro is kind of running away a little bit with that. However, a lot of people are talking about the just the chat moved on me, but it's the GTA Trans Am GTA, which I believe is the it's got the GNX or the Grand National motor in it, and I think that was an anniversary year car too. Maybe that was the 25th anniversary, but
yeah,
math's not working tonight.
92 would have been 25.
But I know they had a nice white one with the blue Screaming Chicken on it, and of course it's got that turbo V6 in it. So pretty cool car, definitely if you get your hands on one of those. But the styling of the Camaro is really hard to beat in this era.
Yeah, and again, some of these guys in the chat are kind of walking over us as far as our knowledge goes. Hey, guys, this is your show too, eh? This isn't just for us. And so knowing what was changed and what was not changed and what was good and not good, it's always helpful to know that stuff. Like I said, I was right up front at the beginning of the show saying I was not quite familiar with the F bodies. One of the reasons why we wanted to kind of do this was to get some of you guys in here.
So you fell for our little plan, hook, line, and sinker. Suckers. Who's the sucker now? And I know Terry Eford was talking about the Turbo 301, but I'm pretty sure that was Pontiac's. I think that was that last generation, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the Turbo 301 made it in the. I think that was the 79 to 81, but I could be wrong again. That's what tonight's about, being all wrong and you guys cleaning up the mess for us. No. I did also see Eric Stenberg ask about which car did Rockford drive, so the Rockford Files, and that was, I'm 99% sure, 77, Firebird. 78 Firebird, yeah, gold, basically the Bandit car, but in that gold.
Yeah, and it didn't have the flares, it didn't have the hood scoop, it didn't have the fin on the back. It was just a base entry level, and I think in even some of the episodes it probably even had hubcaps on it.
I could start. My mom was a big Rockford Files fan. I could hum the little jingle, but instead, why don't we go to the next generation?
So as we get into the next generation, we're talking. This is where cars really kind of took a turn as far as the aerodynamics seem to play a little bit more part in the styling, as did a lot of the late '90s GM products. I'm going to have to go Pontiac on this one. That particular Firehawk that you see on the left-hand side of your screen there right now is probably one of the nicest F bodies in the modern era, as far as I was concerned. So I'm going to have to go Pontiac on this one.
This one's tough for me. It's kind of a split decision, but I think I'm slightly into the Camaro. I like the headlight situation a little bit more. But yeah, this one's tough for me. I think I like the Camaro a little bit more.
Well, you think or you don't. Make a choice.
Well, I'm picking a side, dang it.
All right. So as we look into the chat, we're getting the Pontiac from Resto Car, Grimm's Auto Service as Firehawk, Camaro time, Camaro obviously. We got Camaro from GOM, Camaro from Double R, Camaro or Pontiac for Stupid Fast Truck, Firebird. Yeah, so
Corey
I think
says Camaro. I think it's kind of split down the middle.
it is. It's splitting down the middle on this one, so we can kind of almost. Oh, there's another one for the Trans Am from the Miniac and from Kip. Oh no, sorry. I don't think Kip voted on that one. Get your act together, Kip.
Yeah, I think that's just the WS6 package on the Trans Am.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the actual Firehawk, but again, you guys are passing our test. We're throwing out misinformation. You're picking up like, man, you guys are.
We know what we're talking about. We're just trying to do that to fool you guys. And Jed from Scott Speed Shop says his dad votes Pontiac. So there's your tiebreaker right there, guys.
All right.
We got dad voting for Pontiac. So
we'll put Pontiac down.
And it looks like we're down to one last section here in this episode. We're going 98 to 02. And again, we are styling up the basic generation of this car that we just looked at and moving into, rounded halogen headlights, big ram induction in the front there. That looks pretty cool. This one here, I think I'm still going Pontiac myself on this one just because of that styling on that WS6 or Firehawk or whatever you want to call it.
Camaro time, I think the answer to your question is the inverse of what you're saying. I think the Firehawk that didn't have the divider between the hood and the nostril of the Ram Air, but I'm going WS6 package Trans Am. I mean, the SS looked good with their hood scoop, but yeah, the Ram Air WS6 package on that's my jam right there.
Yeah, so again, I guess we're going to look through the chat here, and where did the chat stop? So I think we're going WS6. We got Pontiac. Corey Ute says Camaro. Kip says TA. Car Craftsman says Pontiac. I think Pontiac walks away with this one.
All right, so if my note taking was accurate, we went Camaro 167 to 69, Camaro 170 to 73, Firebird 74 to 76, Firebird from 77 to 78, Camaro 79 to 81, Camaro 82 to 80 or 82 to 92, Firebird for 93, 97, Firebird 98 to 2002. So we split down the middle, 4 to 4. We worried this might happen. So to break the tie, this is completely going to be the chat up to the chat. But we're going to go back to the 74 to 76 and merge it with the 77 to 78. And I guess we don't have to open up to the chat really because both of those picked Firebird. And so if we merge those two together, it would win 4 to 3. And so Firebird is your winner. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that exercise. We just wanted to do something a little bit different, a little more fun. I enjoyed it, Jason. I don't know about you, but
yeah, it was fun, and I think if you guys can probably pop it up in the chat there whether you like this format, and if you had some fun doing it, maybe we will do that with other muscle cars of the era, and bring it up next time. I know somebody had mentioned to me, I think it was on Instagram, that they would sooner see Mopars. Somebody said they'd sooner see Ford products. So maybe we'll do this again on a legacy episode and have some fun with it. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool segue into the next part of what we're doing on the show. And that is the co-host duty to talk about growth hacks and channel struggles.
Yeah, in which I was going back through our Google Doc and realized I prepared nothing for that, but kind of thinking on the fly. So what I have done recently, I kind of want to take some time to talk about TubeBuddy, which is a browser extension for YouTube. And I think it's a great tool. in all honesty. There's also vidIQ that does similar things. So if you're kind of worrying about growing right now, I think it's a great tool. They ran a promotion last year about this time for small YouTubers. I think you had to be under 1,000, and they gave you 50% off of upgrading to, because they have different levels of licenses. So the pro license, I think it's like pro something, and then something super super. Pro is just the first one up above free. For sure, go try it out. Download it for free if you're under 1,000 subscribers. It's a great tool for that. However, as I've grown and I figured out, I kind of don't rely on it as much anymore. I unsubscribed this week just because thinking like it's one of those things, you know, like that magazine subscription you accidentally signed up for, and you have to keep track of when to tell them to unsubscribe so you don't automatically get billed. Just knowing that I just couldn't justify, I kind of punched the numbers. The full price for the pro license is going to be like $85 annually. And I got the thing, is like, is it really going to give me $85 worth of value this year? And that answer was no to me at the moment. That's not to say I won't a couple months down the road put like vidIQ or TubeBuddy back on. I think I'm kind of just wanting to try something different. But point is, great tool. If you haven't heard of it, go check it out. Try the free version. But it's kind of time for me to move on. I'm breaking up with TubeBuddy for now.
So guys, if you are in the chat and you see some of the people who are in there, we got quite a few. We were at 30 at one point. We're down to 23 people in the chat watching this live stream. Go and check each other out and see what each other has to offer as far as content. We're mostly all car channels, so if there's something you like there, it's probably worth a subscribe. And that goes for Grant and I as well. And most of you are here because of Grant and I. But if you're not yet subscribed to me and or Grant, I encourage you to do so. Grant's channel link is the second one in the description box down below right now. So you want to go down and head over there and check them out and subscribe. That way you'll get notifications when we do go live and when we do have fun with these shows. And
maybe we should take the opportunity, since there are so many new people in the chat, just kind of recapping our format of this show. So this is a legacy episode where it's just Jason and I. And the way the show weekly, every Thursday night, we do take some breaks sometimes, but there's not a break coming up for another like 7 weeks or something. We always start talking cars, and then we get into YouTube growth strategy, growth hacks, tips and tricks kind of thing. And we talk about channel updates. So if you're new to the live stream, again, thank you for showing up. And then, like Jason said, if you're seeing channels that you're like, oh, I don't recognize this name, definitely go check it out. There are a bunch of F-Body guys in here, and if you might not be following all of the F-Body channels that are in the chat right now. So definitely go check out channels and see if there's content that you want to subscribe to.
Yeah, so we're going to move on. We're actually pretty much right at the end of our show time-wise, but we still got a couple of things to cover, and that is going to be the highlight of the week. And I know it says host duty here. And one of the things that I wanted to just highlight is a buddy of mine who is in the chat right now is Kip from America Bumper to Bumper. And Kip has a channel that he right now is doing live streams on Wednesday and Friday evenings. And there's a lot of fun over there. There's not very many people join in, but when I'm there, I have a lot of fun. I know that Grant has been there in the past as well. And I want you guys to go over to Kip's channel, America Bumper to Bumper. Subscribe to him if you're not, and have fun on Friday evenings as well as Wednesday evenings for some of the stuff that he does on his live streams. I just wanted to throw that out there right quick. I've actually met him, been to his house a couple of times. We did a trip to Pennsylvania there last summer, and we plan on hooking up again sometime in my neck of the woods this summer, hopefully, if he's able to get here. And maybe we can hit up a car show or two while we're here. So go over to America Bumper Bumper. That is my highlight of the week.
And so with that, all we are left with are channel updates. And so I don't have a whole lot to update on my channel. And sorry, I was trying to find someone put their Instagram handle in the chat. And so I was trying to type that in. But I will use this opportunity as my next upload is going to be kind of a spinoff of promoting my giveaway. So if you guys don't know about my giveaway I'm doing, go check out my latest upload on my channel. I'm giving away some free tools and some kind of personalized screwdriver holders, which are straight Sixfan themed. They're basically a scaled down version of a Ford 300 inline six head gasket. So I think they're pretty cool. You can be the judge of that. But again, we have so many new people here tonight. So next week, Jason and I are actually going to do another interview, and we've kind of modeled our Carrguy Hangout format of this show after our guest we're having next week, which is Dan Courier of Creator Fundamentals. So if you don't already follow Dan, highly recommend him. Great way to grow your channel with some tips, tricks, and strategy from him. But Jason and I found a bunch of those chats handy for us for our growth. And so I did want to let everybody know you don't want to miss next week's show, because we will have Dan Courier from Creator Fundamentals. And with that, Jason, what is your update?
So my update is going to be, as you can see behind me, I've got my 77 C10 square body, which is dubbed Dale. And Dale is pretty much getting ready for final assembly. I've got one small little patch to put in the floor on the driver's side, and then we can put the carpet down and put the doors on, put the seats together, all that sort of thing. And the box will hopefully go on by the end of the weekend, and we'll be basically done with assembly. And I have a note written down here as drivetrain commitments. If you guys have noticed on my Instagram, my YouTube, my Facebook, I put a poll out there to find out what you guys wanted to see as far as drivetrain, and it was overwhelmingly you guys wanted to see me build a 350 small block for this thing. So that's likely what's going to happen. I've been talking to my dad about those camel hump heads, and I've almost got him talked into letting me use them. Anyway, so that's the plan for the drivetrain reassembly. We'll be getting more information on that as the channel rolls on.
Well, with that, we are definitely over. We tried to limit this to a 35-minute show. We're a little bit over that, but I think it was well worth it tonight. I could close the show out now, but we do always try to at least give you guys a little bit of a shot at throwing a question out for either Jason or myself, and we didn't give you guys that opportunity. So if you think of anything, feel free to think of that now. We probably won't stall out for too long since we are over time, but we didn't want to give you that opportunity. We want to thank everybody who came here for the first time. We do really encourage you. First off, if you hadn't hit the thumbs up on Jason's channel for this live stream, please go do that. But also go tell your friends if you really enjoyed this. Help promote the show so we can make next week's show even bigger and better.
Yeah, so there is one question there, and it says, coming from GOM, he's asking, what do you guys own for cars? Well, for me, you see the truck behind me, the 77 C10, and I'm going to try and get the buried over here in the boxes.
The not forgotten,
but he's very, very lonely, is my 79 Chrysler Cordoba. And we'll be doing some videos on that actually next week. So stay tuned for that.
And then on my channel, you will find a long drawn out, taking way too long build of a 1978 Ford Fairmont that was supposed to be like a summer flip, but it's turned into probably going to be a 2-year episode. I'm going to be getting back. I'm really busy at work right now, but it looks like February is going to be a month where I'm pulling the thing back into the garage, and we're going to go full at it as well and see if we can't get to the end goal on that car.
And Jed is asking if we have a lucky pair of underwear. No, they're all pretty lucky, actually. Thanks.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah. So having said that, I guess it's my turn just to say thank you guys for jumping in here. And, we certainly have a lot of fun tonight. Had a really good crowd. I think, like I said, it got up to just over 30 people watching, and I really appreciate everybody participating in the fun. We will do this again. Obviously, we've proven that this is something that you guys want to do. We've all kind of jumped in and did our thing and had our say. So thanks for doing that, Grant. I'm gonna let you close things out.
Well, as Jason said, thank you very much. Yeah, I think 31 is a record for just Jason and I. I know when we've had some bigger channels on, we've gotten above that mark, but I think 31 ties maybe our record. So that's awesome. So if you guys had a really good time, again, please tell your friends and have your friends tell their friends and so on. And so anyway, thank you very much. We'll just close out the episode as I close out every episode and say thanks. And until next time, peace out.